Hello everybody. I couldn't wait to read the final chapter, so I've decided to read it on the same day that I read what you will have probably watched yesterday. So we've got chapter 14 this morning, and then afterwards there's a note from the author, and then there's some pictures of some of the people that are mentioned in Jan Pollard's story. And don't forget, this is a true story, so the pictures that we'll look at later are photographs. Chapter 14, The End of the War. On May 8, 1945, there was great rejoicing as the war was finally coming to an end. It was called VE Day, and in London, crowds of people gathered in front of Buckingham Palace to cheer the King and Queen. Princess Elizabeth and her sister, Princess Margaret, went outside to join the crowds and shout, "We want the King!" with everyone else before their father and mother came out onto the balcony to wave to everyone. Peace was officially declared in August 1945 to much jubilation and dancing in the streets. Some young evacuees had a difficult time, but for me, those years when I lived at Ross-on-Wye were some of the happiest years of my life. We lived in a beautiful place and were cared for by a kind and loving family, and we did not have to worry about bombs falling around us as we slept while we lived there. We were the lucky ones. The Warrens became like our own family, and we grew to love them so much. We have kept in touch with them all our lives and visited Mr. and Mrs. Warren and Margaret if we were on holiday near Ross. Margaret never married, and when her parents died, she had a bungalow built on land that used to be half of their long garden, the part where the pigsty was situated. Dorothy married George and had 2 sons, and when I married, we spent holidays with them and our 2 daughters. Margaret used to come and stay with us for some of our holidays, especially as her great school friend Hilda came to live in the next village to us in North East Essex. Mrs. Warren never forgot my birthday, and until the day she died she sent me a card and a little present just as if I was one of her daughters. Hazel and I still visit Ross in Ledbury, where Dorothy lives. Ross is a beautiful place and will always seem like a second home to us. Author's note. I first wrote to my experiences as an evacuee as a special 90th birthday present for Dorothy, the eldest daughter of Mr. and Mrs. Warren, the people to whom I was sent as an evacuee all those years ago. I had lots of old photographs which Dorothy had taken of me, and later of my sister and my little brother when they joined me as the bombing got worse in London, where my parents lived. So I added these photos to the birthday book to make it more interesting for Dorothy. Then I had the pages made into a proper book by a local printer to make the birthday present even more special. Dorothy and her sister Margaret both loved the book about all the places around Ross-on-Wye and the memories of the things we did together. So many people have enjoyed reading it that I have made it into a book that everyone can read and enjoy, and also understand just what it was like to be sent away from your family, not knowing where you were going or where you would end up, and find yourself living in a strange place with complete strangers without knowing if you would ever see your parents or your relations again. I was lucky to live with such a kind family who over the years made me feel like a part of their family, and whom I've gone on to visit regularly and will always think of as a part of my own family. I've got some pictures, I'll try and show you them one at a time. It might be difficult. So that's Mr. and Mrs. Warren with Jill and Sue and the dogs. So with Jill and Sue, the dogs. It's Margaret with Jan, Hazel and the dogs. Have a read of that one yourself. That's the final one. Drawing of bomb damage. Quite interesting, I think, that the author has decided to write it because so many people were enjoying reading what she wrote anyway, and I think that's a good way to be a good writer, to write for people that you know and see what they think, and if people like it then you can continue to write it for even more people. Thanks for listening. I hope you enjoyed the book, and I guess the next thing to do is decide what book we're going to read next. Bye.